end up in Taiwan?
You go first.
The economy in Australia was quite bad. There wasn't many jobs, and I got sick of not having any work to use my university degree. And I'd met a friend who'd just come back to Australia from Korea, and he said, "Come on, you've got a degree. You should come with me to do some ESL teaching." And I was like, anything to get out of here.
In Korea?
No, well, he didn't want to go back to Korea because he didn't like it. And I didn't want to go to Japan. Japan was too expensive. Korea was too cold. China wasn't enough money. And Taiwan was the best choice.
Right in the middle, yeah.
So, yeah, came to Taiwan. I've been here now 11 years.
Myself, my father actually lives in Taiwan. He's lived here for like 12 years or something. He was working in the science park in Hsinchu. I used to come to visit Taiwan, visit my dad, and I always really enjoyed my time here. So then I thought maybe I should try to come here and live and work. So then I came and got a job and met a bunch of people, and yeah, that's it.
You guys all met in Taiwan?
We did, yeah. We met in bars in Hsinchu.
Yeah.
I met this bugger first.
Yeah, we were just
He was
drinking.
much younger then, though. Very baby-faced young man that he was.
We were just drinking on the side of this road, and then we just I came here just to teach really. That was my main reason. And then I met these guys.
No, you came because your now wife was here and you were chasing her from South Africa.
Oh yeah, that was that too. Yeah.
And he lived up the street from my girlfriend, so we bump into each other all the time and talk about music.
And midgets.
Terry's brother was living here.
Twin brother. Yeah, I was working in the office and he was telling me all these stories of Taiwan. I was like, damn, it's great, you gotta get out of the office. And so I was like, came here from vacation from work and I never left.
Where are you guys all from?
Canada,
Australia. So there we go. We're all Commonwealth
countries.
You can use that word in the article, Commonwealth.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, so we're all from Commonwealth countries. No Americans.
Maybe I can join your band.
That's true, you could.
Play the tambourine. Windy City 4, what is that?
Well, there's four of us. And Hsinchu is known as the Windy City. You know, much like I guess in the States people say Chicago's the Windy City or Winnipeg in Canada.
There actually is a band called the Windy City 4, right?
Yes,
Yeah, there's
YouTube.
a gospel band in Chicago, Illinois. It's called
five guys.
Windy City 4,
Five guys in that
but it's spelled F-O-U-R, and there's
there's
five
five
guys.
guys.
I don't understand that. But yeah, Windy City, and then four people, so. And we also thought, because the acronym was WC4, we were thinking about like the WC,
Toilet.
the toilet. But yeah, that's where it comes from, Windy City 4.
Although I'm always telling my students that it's not very common for Westerners to refer to the toilet as the WC.
True. It's a water closet.
Although we do go to the bathroom a lot.
It's actually an old thing. They used to make a bathroom without the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like an old, like,
Next question.
Okay, we should stop talking about toilets.
History
This
of
whole article is
toilets.
going to be about toilets.
The history of toilets. We're gonna
Hey, Scott said he can put this on YouTube.
well, then let's stop fucking doing
All right.
How would you define your band's music?
Garage rock.
Stellar.
Garage rock. You know, because we don't use a lot of. There's not a lot of pop to it. Whether but yet it is poppy, but there's not a lot of like effects. There's not a lot of synthesizers and stuff. It's just raw and loud. So I would say garage rock.
Well, the way that we formed the
Initially.
band was Murray and I were talking one night and we liked the same music. So And then he said, oh, I play guitar. And I said, oh, I play drums. So we said, oh, we got together. Here we are now, playing all over Taiwan.
You guys were the originators.
Yeah. You were the instigators.
Instigators is a better word.
But yeah, garage rock, you know, loud, aggressive, in your face, but also with a bit of pop, I guess. Something people can move around to, but you know, a bit of rawness to it.
Dance.
We wanted
Dancing's very important.
We wanted something. Johnny and I actually at the beginning, we really wanted something that was raw. You know, like the Stooges or something. You know, it had that raw feeling to it.
Like the what?
The
Iggy
Stooges,
Pop
like
and
Iggy
the
and the
Stooges.
Stooges or something. A bit of rawness, even though it's rock or it's pop or something, but it had to be raw. That was the key.
And, how about the instruments? What are your instruments?
Guitar,
Drums.
Guitar,
bass.
and singing.
Yeah, I sing. I don't really like to sing, but these guys won't do it, so I had to.
No, you're a good singer.
Thank you. I
No,
learned
well, actually, the best singer in the band plays
is
the
actually
drums.
him. Yeah, that's true. But he can't sing and play.
But I
at the
can't
same
sing and play at the same time. I'm not that talented.
time. But I never really sang. I
Phil
played.
Collins.
Yeah, basically, Johnny's like our Phil Collins. You know, just a bit rougher around the
He's gonna
edges.
start his own band eventually. Just break away. Gonna go solo.
So yeah, this is the question for John. What is the role of the drummer?
G'day, how are you? To keep time. Keep it on. So the bass and the drums should work together,
Bottom end.
and then these guys can do what they need to do around us. So we have to keep.
Their foundation.
Yes.
Foundation.
The rhythmic foundation.
If bands record, quite often,
The drums are first.
yeah, the drums will play just to the bass player, and then add the guitars later. Usually the vocals will come last.
Yeah, the vocals are always there.
So who is the leader? Is there a leader?
No, we're very democratic. Whoever whinges the loudest, whoever complains the loudest gets
Very
the squeaky. The squeaky. Here we go. Here's a phrase for you. The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
It's
He
not really a
does
leader.
a lot of the writing though. Glenn and Murray do a lot
Glenn and
of
Murray do most, pretty much all the writing. Although he will credit the songs to all four of us, which is very, very nice. Well, beautiful band.
Well, the songs don't really come to life unless they're, you know, everybody brings something to it. You know? So I mean, if I do have an initial idea, it doesn't really come to life unless they're all involved. So
It's just a wooden puppet without the pixies.
When we write a song, it's very simple. You know, like he'll just start off with a riff, a guitar riff, and then we'll say, "Oh, that sounds cool," and then
Go with it, yeah.
you know, I'll just start playing along with him, and then we'll work it out bit by bit after that.
Do you write all your songs?
yes,
Yeah, we have covered. We've done
a few covers
Two
for
covers.
fun once in a while, but
did a Neil Young cover,
an REM cover.
REM, and a Nirvana cover one time.
Yeah, one time. But we don't.
But I'm
really
not a
do
big.
that.
We're not big Nirvana fans.
Well, I am, but
I'm not.
we don't really do covers though. No.
I don't
Once in a while for fun.
I was gonna ask, what's the writing process? You already kind of explained it.
Well, you know, Glenn and I, you know, we do most of the writing, and we've got different things we come up with at home, and
A lot of it's old stuff too.
some of it's very old, some of it's spur of the moment, some of it happens at the practice studio, some of it we've been hanging on to for years, whatever, you know. We bring it forward and we play it, and then you know everybody jumps in and adds to it, and then you know it either works or doesn't. So there's a lot of songs that maybe have been kind of thrown to the wayside, but that's just the way it goes, I guess.
Good word, wayside.
Thrown to the way.
Well, I
Thrown
mean,
to
no,
the
it's
wayside.
true though. I mean, like there's certain songs that when you write as a writer, I mean, like Glenn writes a lot of songs. I write a lot of songs, and there's a lot of songs that don't that we might write or that I might write that won't necessarily fit with this band, you know. And so you bring it forward and it doesn't work, but that's okay, you know. Like something else will come up. You know?
We do play a lot of joke songs at our practices, at our band practices.
But
we'll play a lot of bad heavy metal songs or.
But honestly, I think most of the songs that we've written in this band have just come very quickly and naturally out of nowhere. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of like pre-planning for the writing, except for a few songs.
We're pretty lucky
Very
because we
spontaneous.
have very similar tastes in music.
And it's been quite spontaneous, like on the spot, you know, and then it just happens. And it's kind of like, oh, what do you think of this? And he'll be like, that's gay, or that sucks, you know, like, or he'll be like, wow, you know, like, and it will just work or it won't, right?
So how many albums do you have?
2, but they're actually EPs. They're not full-length albums. We've got 2, and we're in the midst. Well, not yet, but we want to record a 3rd one. All the material's done. but
We
have to
had
go
the
to
money to
studio.
record the 3rd one, but we went to Japan and played in Japan instead.
But the next one will probably be done, hopefully this spring, and then out in the summer or the fall.
We actually we've recorded both of our EPs here in Taichung.
Yeah, at Prussian Blue Recording Studios. Really great place.
Prussian Blue.
Prussian Blue.
Prussian
yeah.
Blue. Didi.
Run by a
Didi's
guy
cool
named
dude.
Didi. It's really cool.
Somebody checking my messages to see who's been calling. Lord knows I know that you let me. I don't take my coffee anymore with sugar. These days I don't feel I'm with a good too.
Okay, so what's touring like?
It's fun. At times.
We haven't done really any big tours.
Yeah, you can't really say. They haven't done long enough 1 week, 2 week tours. It's always like one weekend because we all have
We're all working,
Yeah.
so.
So we can only say
But
like
it's fun.
You guys shows like in certain
Yeah.
areas, like Thailand,
like 2 nights Friday, so
like if you go to the one where you want to try to do like.
But it is fun. It does get ridiculous on the road.
And it's
so to
tiring
speak.
sometimes, but even when it's tiring and annoying, when you get back home, it's still fun, you know.
Japan was amazing.
How long were you there?
Just
Just
3
the
days.
weekends, yeah,
3
weekends.
days. We left
Yeah,
on the
we did.
Friday. We came back on the bloody
We did a
Sunday.
gig in Tokyo on the weekend. A Japanese friend of ours organized it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Played one show.
Just one show in Shibuya, yeah. It's really cool.
How did it go?
It went over really well, yeah. They liked it. It sounded good. Yeah, you know, it was good.
Yeah, we got a DVD and a bottle of wine. A Windy City 4 bottle of wine.
lots of sake.
Yeah, where we were staying, there was a sake bar right next door. So as soon as we got to the hotel, we were down drinking.
Have you gone any other countries to play?
No. I mean, we've all played in our own countries, of course. But I mean, as this band, just Taiwan, but we're planning to go to South Korea or maybe Singapore.
Chengdu.
Maybe Chengdu. We definitely, after Japan, we definitely want to do it again, but we haven't really decided on where.
Japan was just too expensive.
You guys pay all for that?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
We had a band account with money. I don't know if we should talk about our earning of money because that goes in the magazine.
Well, sometimes
we do it
we-
for free.
No, sometimes. Look, sometimes we get money, sometimes we don't, you know. But it really depends on the situation. I mean, like
It's never much money.
we did a charity show a couple weeks ago for the Formosa Cancer Foundation, and
Got another one
we
next week.
didn't make any money, but you know that's cool. I'm fine with that.
March Dash event. That's March. In Gaojiang and Shinju. They're playing 2 shows with some other bands to raise money for the foundation.
Do you prefer recording in the studio or doing live shows?
Live shows.
It's a little bit stressful.
Yeah, you've got a short.
I like both. Both.
But when you're recording, you know, you've only got a short time. You know.
I think it. No, well,
And you're paying for it, you know. You're paying for your time, so you got to.
I don't know, man. I think that obviously it's totally different. I mean, it's a different vibe. I mean, playing in a show with people and stuff, it's exciting and exhilarating. And
You get a lot of
but in the
energy
studio-
and feedback from the audience.
But in the studio, it's kind of cool because it's our own little space where it's only us, you know, and the engineer, and we can kind of really just kind of relax, you know. That we don't really relax like that when.
No, true.
So
yeah.
and we get that kind of moment where there's nobody but us, and it's our own little world. So I think that's actually a very, very beautiful thing as well. It's just different.
You guys make music videos? You make,
Just
some,
roughly,
yeah,
roughly.
homemade ones.
Homemade ones.
DIYs.
2 or 3? 3, I guess.
Oh, I suppose there's one that we did at a radio station in
Yeah.
Shinju at the Jiao Tong University radio station. Another one that from when we played in Henchun at Spring Scream. And
One from Japan.
Yeah.
Well, we just spliced together footage.
Yeah.
Right. So not professionally, no. We would rather spend the money on another record than to pay someone to do a nice video. We don't have that much money.
We already talked about this a little bit. What's the feeling of playing at a live?
if you do it well, if you have a really bad show, you feel like
It's
not very
exciting.
good.
It's definitely exciting.
So does he get like a panties like stings?
You guys have groupies?
No, not really.
No groupies.
Actually, we do.
But they're all men, they're all guys.
lots of guy
We
groups.
don't have any
I had them
female
in Taiwan.
Yeah, it wasn't up in a hotel like 10 guys. It's fun. No, but the live thing is fun, and I think that, like, you know, we could. I like when you asked us about like traveling around and stuff. And I think that that's kind of cool, you know, like when we went down to Tainan, you know. Of course, we've all been in places in Taiwan before, but Tainan, for example, was a place that I hadn't really spent much time. For us to go there to a fresh city, a fresh audience, was really, really kind of exciting, you know.
So you don't know what to expect.
It's a great way to meet new people too, because people come up to you.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Other
like
musicians, we meet other musicians. That's why we're here tonight.
That's why we're here,
met
because
these
we met
guys.
the Ever So Friendlies and
Wow.
Kevin over here. Kevin.
No, we played with them a lot. With Ever So Friendlies in a bunch of different cities actually. But we met them on the road.
Hainan, Taipei, yeah.
most shows you had another band was they do
No,
little
Hainan.
But we met them by playing in other towns, and also even, you know, like we hadn't played in Hsinchu for a very long time. There's nowhere to play really. And then, you know, played there at that railway thing. You know, we hadn't played in our hometown for like a year. There was like 130 people that came out or something. It was really.
But then, of course, one show and then that was it because the locals complained about
More
noise.
venues are opening up now. We have 2 venues that are in there, so we're so
Because a live show is definitely, I think it's what pushes us to keep going, you know. Yeah. It's definitely a rush. Like tomorrow, we're gonna go home and we're gonna be like, oh, that was a lot of fun. Wow, we gotta go back there, you know.
Don't speak too soon.
No, well, sometimes though, and sometimes it doesn't. But even the shitty ones, even the bad ones, even the gigs that we go to another city where the sound is crap, or maybe we just played badly, or the crowd there's nobody there. But even that, I think it's still better than doing nothing. You know?
Well, see, I think the difference is we were friends before we started, so that sort of helps a lot. You know.
Are you guys all teachers too?
Yeah. He's a student
He's also a student.
slash teacher. Oh yeah, but he's doing it on the bloody internet. You're doing real study.
He goes to the university in Tsinchu as well as teaching. I teach, Joe teaches, Graham teaches.
Some of the students might recognise my beautiful face.
We would love to be able to do this only, but obviously there's not enough money involved. Actually, I think about the teaching thing that is interesting is the second record that we did, before we released it, we had the finished product and no one had really listened to it except for maybe a couple friends or family members. And I took the album to my class. These kids are like in grade 5, you know, and we had this art class and I was like, you guys want to listen to some music while we do the art? And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, well, this is our new record, you should listen to this. And they were all excited. It was really interesting because I basically tested the album on these like, these grade 5 students, these Taiwanese kids, and they loved it, man. They were just like, yeah, this is really good. And that's when I thought to myself, yeah, they're very honest. There was one song at the beginning of the album called A Murder that's kind of evil sounding. I remember one of them said to me, that sounds very scary. And I was like, but yeah, there's a lot of honesty to that, man. But I think the next record I'll do the same thing. Yeah. You know?
And a shout out to Terry at ICRT. He really supports indie bands in Taiwan.
Yeah.
And he does shows where
He had us.
We did it. Yeah, we did it.
We had an interview with him online or on the radio
air. We
station.
went into ICRT
and he's great.
played a couple of acoustic songs.
What are your inspirations, influences?
Oh,
My dog,
yes. He writes a lot of songs about animals.
pets,
Girls.
life, animals. I don't know.
Mostly out with music.
Well, I think that also, like, for us, getting together is also like a social thing, you know? I mean, it's one thing to go out, you know, as a lot of foreigners maybe living in Taiwan teaching English, like all of us, you know, and everyone has this thing where on Friday night or whatever, they all go up to the same bar and they just get hammered, right? And I mean, okay, fine, that's fun, but I mean, there's more to life than that, and that just gets so boring after a while. We've all been here for so many years that
So now
I
we
think
just
that,
go to
like,
band practice and get hammered.
well, no, but I mean, that's not what I mean. My point is like, if I go to the pub on Friday night to drink with fellow English teachers, I mean, it's all right, yeah. But you know, on Saturday morning or Sunday morning when we meet to practice, it's just so much better. It's something else.
Constructive.
Yeah. It's like a
Practice is
hobby.
very important.
So I think that's part of the inspiration too, is getting together and doing something other than just, you know, working, saving money, spending money, and getting drunk and bitching and complaining, right? Which so many people do, and I don't think that they do that on purpose, but that just happens, you know.
Yeah.
So it's an outlet, I guess. Relieves stress. That's
Yes.
a lot of inspiration.
Yeah,
there.
definitely. It's definitely a big stress reliever.
That's a big inspiration, I think, you know, because
It's like
you have
musical
something,
Valiant.
you have something on your mind, and you want to just let it out, and that's a great way to let it out. That's inspiration. Other music that we grew up listening to, like
Kiss.
Johnny said, Johnny and I listened to a lot of the same music. When we first met each other, we were talking about all these albums that we grew up listening to. And interestingly enough, a lot of the records were the same. So it's like, you know, here we were on other sides of the planet as children, but listening to the same records, you know what I mean? And I think that helps. On the same page.
Why did you choose drums?
Well, when I was 11 years old, I saw a film clip on TV, and it was just one. Obviously, it was just a film clip, so they just had the snare drum, and the guy was hitting the snare drum, and I thought, oh, that looks easy. Oh, I can do that. And so I begged my parents for Christmas to buy me a drum kit, a drum. And they did. I never thought they would, and when I woke up Christmas morning, I was like, oh my God,
It's a
there. with a little cymbal, and then my brother. Yeah, that's it. And I learned by listening to this record by a band called the Hoodoo Gurus over and over and over and over again. And I just, it's sort of fast, sort of punky 60s sort of stuff. And and then my brother the next year bought a proper drum kit, and he bought it for himself, but I got on it and I was better than him. So I inherited the drum kit.
He doesn't play now.
No, he plays guitar.
Advice for young people who want to be musicians?
Just do it. Go for it.
Yeah, but most importantly, I think, especially for the young kids in the West these days, and also the kids in Taiwan. You know, we go to the practice and we see all these young kids. You know, and number one, I think, like you said, just go out and do it. But the one thing is that they always seem a little shy. You know,
and they try to get it. A lot of people try to get it too perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just find your own limitations.
But the thing is
and go
that even
with
though
that.
they're shy, it's like, I mean, like the first band that I was ever in when I was 14, and for you to say, we sounded like crap, you know, but just keep going with it. Just do it. Just do it.
You get better. You can't get worse. It's like English. It's like learning English for the students, you know. I always tell my students,
mistakes are a
you
good
can't
thing.
get worse. You can't get worse.
Mistakes
you just keep doing it.
It's
You
like
just
learning
get better.
English. Mistakes are a good thing, you know. If you make a mistake, you learn from that mistake, you know. And the biggest thing I would say for the kids, though, especially the Taiwanese kids and the young bands that we see, they're great kids. They can play really well. They don't have a lot of exposure because there's not a lot of places for them. Unfortunately, that's not their fault. But I think the big thing is that they got to try to do their own thing. You know what I mean? I mean, rather than sitting there and trying to learn learn a Guns N' Roses song or learn a Bon Jovi song. I mean, you know what? Just spend that amount of time on trying to do your own song, and even if it sucks, it's still better than you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the first one's gonna suck, but eventually we'll get better. You know. So I would say, do your own thing, right?
Finally, any crazy stories?
Oh yeah, but I'm not sure that we can tell them on crazy stories.
PG-13.
He rolled into my puke one night. We got kicked out of a hotel in this
We
very
got
city.
kicked out of a hotel.
Actually, yeah, touch up my guitar fell down the stairs at the HSR station.
Yeah, he passed out in Taipei on the train and
Yeah,
woke up
I've
in
told my
Yashang
students that story before coming back from
across the
Taipei.
country.
Fell asleep. He woke up in Kaohsiung.
And then
My guitar fell down the stairs.
there's some other ones that we probably shouldn't mention as well. But
Well, it's mostly just alcohol related. We're not really a hippie band. We all have wives and girlfriends, so it's kind of just
Well, I don't
alcohol.
anymore.
Yes, it's all alcohol stories. Really. It's just
there's definitely been some. But yeah, him rolling a puke, him waking up on the other side of the country. But I think for every band, they have equal stories or ones that can top them. And I don't know.
Alright, anything else you want to add?
No, thanks for giving us a bit of space. Ask them if they can put us on the cover. That's the
But I think
closest we'll
that-
get to be on the Rolling Stone cover.
But I think though, you know, no, I want to add something actually. Back to the thing about the kids, you know, like especially the Taiwanese kids. We see these kids playing at the practice too. Some of them they've
good.
got something. They've got something.
skills,
Yeah.
man.
Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of places to play, and maybe in the future it will change. And a lot of them have to end up going to the army, so the band will be broken up. You know, which is very unfortunate. But I think the main thing is if they just keep focusing on it and keep doing it, you know.
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
A lot of people
We're
can
definitely not
concentrate on
perfect.
trying to get it note for note perfect. You know, you don't have to do that. You know, like.
I think Taiwanese people are perfect.
So in Japan it was the same. In Japan it was the same.
You know, like not always doing covers. It's a good start, but not getting in that trap of always playing cover songs.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, regular stuff.
You know, and then the fact is that like, okay, like, oh, you know, this band is fun, but like, oh, so-and-so's going to the army, well, you know what, he might come back and then continue playing, you know, and then there's not a lot of places to play, well, okay, then keep playing, find a place to play like we did, you know, and, oh, you don't make enough money out of it, okay, then get a daytime job like we did, but you know, if you're really into it, then just keep doing it, you know, and some of these young kids are really actually really good, and it's really a shame to watch that fall apart like it does, you know.
Hey.
Alright.
Oh, and special thanks to Global Government. I hope you don't have to edit all of that so it just turns into a paragraph.
Well, he's only got 4 pages. How many words are they usually?
500.
500 words.
I'll only be able to put a little bit in some magazine.
Yeah, of course.
But I can
of course.
Focus on the kids and all that stuff.
But you know, do what you gotta do, cut it up and paste it up. It's okay. You got carte blanche, man. Just don't say that I like Bon Jovi or Billy Joel.
He's gonna take it out of context.
No.
You can just take it out of context. Just say, I like Bon Jovi. Really inspired me.
Yeah,
really,
right.
really inspired me. And really. He's notorious.
We love Creed.